Alright, good morning ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon depending on when you're watching. What we're going to be working on today is we're going to be using tables to show equations with more than one operation. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's take a look. Right here it tells us to input more values for the equation. Remember, an equation, ladies and gentlemen, has to have an equal sign. For n times 3 plus 5 equals y. Find the new input and output values. Now, what they're basically asking us to do is they're saying, hey, figure this out. N times 3 plus 5 equals y. If you are looking at this equation, you should notice already that this equation is impossible to do as we start out, because we don't know what n is, and if we can't figure out what n is, we really can't figure out y. These two variables are both unknown to us, so we do not know what they could be. But what if I did this? What if I added this next sentence into it? Suppose n equals 2. Then find the value of y. Now, with that being said, we can go ahead and figure this out. How can we figure this out? Well, what we can do is we can go ahead and take this n right here, and we can go ahead and substitute the number 2 into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw an arrow right here. I'm going to go ahead and put a 2 now. So now I have my 2 times 3, and that's of course in parentheses, plus 5 equals y. Now check that out. How did I get that 2 again? Again, they told us that n equals 2. And I'm going to go ahead and put this 2 up into this n, so now my equation becomes 2 times 3 plus 5 equals y. Now let's use order of our operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, we want to go ahead and do what's in the parentheses first. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 5, well, that equals 11. So y is going to be 11. So now I can go ahead and put this in my table down here, 11. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and use this table to go ahead and figure out the rest of my variables. So now I have to figure out, okay, what would it be if n was 3? So then I'd have to do is I'd have to go ahead and go back all the way through my equation. I got to go all the way back through my equation and just erase this. So instead of using, so here's my equation again. Instead of using 2, I'm going to go ahead and make this n turn into a 3. So 3 times 3, in parentheses, plus 5 equals y. 9 plus 5 equals 14. So now this is a 14. Well, what happens if I use the 4? 4 times 3, in parentheses, plus 5 equals y. 12 plus 5 equals 17. And finally, my last one, 5 times 3 plus 5 equals y. 15 plus 5 equals 20, because this one would be 20. And ladies and gentlemen, that is simply what the I can statement is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and figure out these equations and put numbers in for what they tell us. Alright, that's all I have for you. Thanks for checking in, and I'll talk to you later.